Hello everyone and welcome back to Casual Decks for Social Players Season 2. Here we have 5 rules. 1, the deck has to be modern. 2, it's got to be made from pool cards. 3, if I do buy cards with less than £5. 4, has to be fun. And 5, I can break any of these rules. This is Season 2, so we have an additional 6th rule, which has to be, the deck has to be made from the same set or block. Today we are headed back to March of the Machines, and we're looking at the villain side this time, where we can all hail Phyrexia. This deck is trying to create as many incubator tokens as possible. These are token artifacts that enter with +1/+1 counters on it, and you can pay 2 to transform it into a Phyrexian creature, which has a 0/0 but has a bunch of +1/+1s hopefully on it. At first, we have an Ichor Drinker, which is a 1/1 lifelink and Phyrexian vampire, which you can exile from the graveyard to incubate 2. We have 2 of these. A Bloated Processor is next, sacrificing other Phyrexians to grow this, and when it dies, you incubate X with X in its power. We have 2 of these. Completed Huntmaster to sacrifice creatures or artifacts to incubate for free. We have 2 of these. We have an Essence of Orthodoxy, which when it enters or another Phyrexian enters, we get to incubate 2. 1 of those. Norn's Inquisitor, which when it enters, incubates 2, and then whenever a permanent transforms into a Phyrexian, we get to put a +1/+1 counter on it. So we have 4 of these. Gift of Completion, which enters, incubates 3, and then whenever Phyrexian dies, we get to surveil 1, and we have 3 of those. Phyrexian Awakening, which enters, incubates 4, and all Phyrexians have Vigilance, which is really, really good. We have 4 of these. And Sculpted Perfection, which incubates for 2, but gives all Phyrexians +1/+1. We have 3 of those. Next up are some ways to transform our Phyrexian tokens. So we have an Attentive Skywarden, which deals combat damage to a player. You get to transform an incubator. We have 3 of these. A Seed Pod Caretaker, which transforms when it enters the battlefield. And a Sunder the Gateway, which either allows you to destroy artifacts or enchantments to incubate for 2, or incubate 2 and then transform any incubator token you have. 2 of those. Next, we have some notable other Phyrexians, like the Phyrexian Censor, which allows players to only cast 1 non-Phyrexian each turn, and non-Phyrexians enter tapped. We have 2 of these. Terror of Tawashi, which when it attacks allows us to return a creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. We have Elish Norn, which forces our opponents to pay 1 unless they lose 2 life each source of damage they deal to us. Really, really nasty. And then you can transform it into the Argent Etchings, which allows us to incubate 2 5 times and transform all the incubators, get a bunch of +1/+1 and double strike, and then destroy everything and then return Elish Norn back. We then also have Shieldred, which is a menace creature which makes an opponent sacrifice a non-token creature or planeswalker, and then you can transform it into the True Scriptures, which allows us to destroy things, make them mill and discard, and then return all creatures from the graveyard to the battlefield, again returning Shieldred back. We have 2 Shieldreds. And finally, for our spells, we have a few battles as we're in March of Machines. So we have Evasion of New Capenna, which allows us to sacrifice an artifact or a creature to exile an opponent's thing. We have 3 of these. It transforms into the Holy Frazzle Cannon, which whenever a quick creature attacks, it gets a +1/+1 on that creature and each other creature that share a creature type with it, which is great for all the Phyrexians. And finally, we have Invasion of Tolvada, which allows us to return something from the graveyard to the battlefield, which is really good for our big Phyrexian threats, and eventually transforms into the Broken Sky, which gives our tokens +1/+0 and lifelink, and all our incubators are tokens. And finally, our land. We have 2 the Seed Cores, which allows us to get mana of any colour if we're casting a Phyrexian creature spell, which is really good. We have Scoured Barrens, which gives us a bit of life. We have 3 of these. And we have 10 plains with 8 swamps. And one final look at the deck as a whole with its mana curve. Let me know what you think and what your favourite card is and how it will do in the tournament. And we'll see you next time.